All right, we're back. It's Tuesday. We're programming for the MWOD. It's week 2, and one of the things that people asked for was, hey Kelly, I know you're perfect. You're like the stretching Buddha, but we need examples of people who are not awesome as you are. And let me show you someone. You know, you may know him from CrossFit football. It doesn't matter that he actually played in the NFL for 10 years. But John actually has a little bit tight shoulders in spite of the fact that he's so awesome. So we're going to show you what it looks like when he's working overhead, and he's going to do the MobilityWOD today. Here's our test, retest. You can see his hand position. And you'll notice that John also works hard. This is the right shoulder. It's a little bit limited, and what that causes him to do is tilt his whole pelvis, or excuse me, his whole rib cage tilts, and when he kind of anchors it down, you see the difference in shoulders. And so one of the things we want to show you is that even the best athletes in the world are always working on their business, and that's one of the things that makes them really good athletes. So John's going to wind himself up. And let's say, John, you don't have a strap that you could hook up that way. What else could you do with that strap? Could you hook it in over a door?
I think you could.
I think you could. What happens if you didn't have a stretchy strap? Could you do it with a non-stretchy strap?
I think you could do it with anything.
Could you
could use shoelaces.
Whoa!
Stick it outside the box.
That's crazy talk. All right, so John, has got an issue here. He had shoulder surgery, right? Playing in the NFL has its costs. And what we want to do is give John a piece of the puzzle, a piece of the pie, so he can start to systematically load this thing. It may take 3, 4, 5 minutes. What I don't want John to do is put himself into horrific joint pain. This should feel like stretching business. If John is feeling like this is killing his shoulder and it's impinging the whole time, what he can do is back out, take a break, come back in, or even do a little gentle contraction at the kind of onset of position, onset of resistance.
Like a little PNF stretching?
Yeah, hey, like a little PNF stretching, specifically some hold relax or some contract relax. So if John gets to a place that makes him feel vulnerable, he can just tighten up whatever it is he's mobilizing, and then he can just release and he becomes a little bit less vulnerable. Remember, it's about time under tension. One of the things we want to do is tell your shoulder, we're coming. How do we start to program these tissues into knowing these are positions we value? And one of the things we think about is, hey, this is stretching, mobilizing the physiologic range, which means it may be everything. It may be subscap, it may be lats, it may be catching this part of his tricep. It's definitely part of the capsule. We can know that he's working hard on the end range. You see that that's a tough piece for John, that distraction. He's going to take a break, come back in, shake it out. And let's just see, that was a minute. Let's go and redo a retest real quick, John, before you do that. He's going to switch to the other arm because it's bad stuff. Is there any difference in John's overhead position quickly? Yeah. And what you're going to see is that's the kind of example you get, and that's what the kind of thing we're after is working on, is that little piece at a time. Even looking at overhead, that this shoulder is much more effective now. It's going to be able to at stacking and weight overhead. So when John puts 400 pounds overhead like he can, then now we're in a much better position. Cool?
Yep.
Cool. See you tomorrow.